Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream. How is everyone doing? Happy month. Happy October. We are in Q4, right? So 3 months left until the end of the year. So let's stay focused and disciplined to have a strong end of the year. And I hope you guys started this month in a good way. What a day. It was something that we were actually mentioned. That was the way we finished the stream. So every day I'm going live sorry, at 7 p.m. To do basically the pre-market analysis. So feel free to share and to ask which pair do you usually trade, or if you are interested in for me to analyze any specific asset, feel free to write in the comments and we can do that together. That's the main reason I'm doing this stream. First of all, I do believe that preparation is a key factor for everyone to succeed in trading. So that's what we are doing. Already starting to see what levels you want to trade for tomorrow, what is our bias, and how do we want to be adjusting ourselves, and also across different assets that I follow, where do I think that I can see my A+ setup based on my own strategy. So yes, that's the main reason why I'm doing this. So if you are new, feel free to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So let's get started. So yesterday, that's exactly the way I finished the stream. I mentioned that it looked like that after so much range and the way price respected yesterday the lows on the dollar index, and it was already breaking some highs, and it has been in this range for quite a while. I did mention, and especially looking at the euro dollar and pound dollar, that it looked like that we were about to have a trending day. And that's exactly what happened. Like since the London Open, we basically went all the way through until now in one direction. So strong dollar, weak euro dollar, weak pound dollar, and so on, and also weak indices. And the indices, this is something that we already looked at since last week when you were predicting that the indices were about to see sell pressure, especially after Nasdaq reached that level that we were waiting for. In terms of the news, so what we had today, it was basically job openings, right? So it started with the CPI in the Eurozone, again, no surprise in there. We also had some manufacturing, again, still not great at all, the manufacturing in the Eurozone. But then we had CPI in Eurozone, again, as expected. Usually there's not exactly a big surprise in there. The key news event for today was the job openings, all right, because again we are paying special attention to the labor market at this point. Exactly what the Fed Chair Powell mentioned yesterday during that conference is that one of the biggest indicators that you can follow in terms of anticipating if you're about to have any recession or hard landing is going to be the job market. It's not even the GDP. GDP is kind of a lagging indicator. It would be more of the labor market. So looking at the job openings, much better than expected. So we went back to 8 million jobs, which is good. As you can see, the trend has been literally moving to the downside, and now there's a little bit of a spike in here, going back above the 8 million. Right? And if you even compare where we were before COVID, it's still higher than that. And it's something that the Fed is also paying attention to. In here, interesting enough, when the news came out, right, we actually continue to have a negative momentum on the indices. In addition to that, around the US Open, there was the news about the situation in the Middle East, right? And that can be a big factor, especially on oil, as we saw oil skyrocket when that came out, like that Iran, it was literally about, or actually attacked Israel, right? So that's a situation that's going to be creating volatility for sure. It's a concern that affects many players, and so that's definitely something to keep an eye on and be careful. Like in terms of risk management, be careful in these situations, because we never know when the market is about to move like that, or to shift literally the direction from either bullish to bearish or vice versa. Right, so those are basically the key events in here. We are going to maybe still have, or maybe that already happened, a few fan members also speaking. Basically the feature probably yesterday during that conference, it was actually during the live stream, so I didn't really pay too much attention to it, but from what I read afterwards is that it's quite positive about the US economy. Again, as I mentioned, when he cut rates with the 50 basis points, that he bet in the US economy. That's why it was so aggressive. So he's betting that actually everything or the data that he's receiving is going in alignment based on what the Fed is predicting. And therefore, that's why he was so aggressive with the 50 basis rate cut. And that's going to help eventually to get into this soft landing, right? But also what he said yesterday is that at the moment, what he's predicting is that it's going to be only 50 basis points until the end of the year. And that shifts straight away when you look at the Fed watch, because it has been the probability of another 50 basis points already in November. It was higher, as you can see in here. Basically, it was, 1 week ago it was higher, but since yesterday it changed, right? So now it's just expecting a 25 basis points for now, and then another 25 basis points in December in here, right? And maybe that's another reason why the US indices are moving to the downside, because maybe they were expecting the continuation of this rate cuts, which is basically creating more liquidity into the market, which is in the short term can be positive. In the long term, that's a big question mark. So looking at the market, right? So let's continue and now actually pay attention to the market in here. So there you go. We had the dollar index moving to the upside, right? And this was something that we were looking for in here. Now, looking at the daily time frame, we mentioned that there was all this range in here for, I don't know, the last 7-8 trading sessions. And now we finally had a big move away from here, and we are looking for price to get closer to this extreme. All right, so again, there's still no confirmation that price still wants to go even above that level, but this smaller range that we have been looking for, all right, which is basically price trading within this level in here, we're looking for price to get to that extreme. This high didn't really touch that level, so we're looking for price to do that. All right, so that's what we're going to be looking for. Again, the way price has been moving even today, even though it has been a momentum day. Sorry, it was not just exactly a momentum day where it's just printing bullish candles. If you actually start going into the lower time frame, you saw that there was a lot of compression, and that's a big difference in terms of the movement when you have a lot of compression on the way up, because then can open the door when you do turn. You can have a deep retracement as well straight after that. So that's something to bear in mind in here, which means that maybe tomorrow we can actually clean literally all the way through, and maybe going to be trading within this range until Friday when you have the NFP. Right, so that's going to be the key mark at this point. I'm definitely waiting to see dollar index to get to this level. Right, I'll be quite surprised if price doesn't really go there and it just stops in here. I'm not really expecting that. It can have as much reaction as it wants in here, but eventually I'm expecting this dollar index to continue and actually go closer to that extreme in here, and in particular maybe even going above this highs in there. So that's something in here on dollar index. In terms of levels left behind, we left this level in here. We may have this one as well to pay attention to. All right, and then eventually then you are going back to the lows. But yes, for tomorrow we may have a continuation. Like, that's the big question mark now. Again, we were anticipating yesterday this big push to the upside. For tomorrow, I'm still bullish. I'm still expecting at least for price to follow and get to these highs. But it's going to be already tomorrow. Price is going to retrace a little bit before it goes there. Like, that's the question in here. But that's definitely the level that I want to be looking for, is for price to get closer to this level in there. So yeah, that's something to pay attention to. Maybe again, you can get more ideas when you do look at the euro dollar and pound dollar and so on. The indices, there you go. Oh, nice, interesting. So it's recovering now at the end of the session in here. So we talked about exactly this, that setup that we looked for since last week, right? That you wanted to see these lows, and if that lows were broken, then it starts opening the door for price to go further down. And where to? Basically, we have this range in here. All right, so that was those lows in here with this compression. That was the extreme, the initial extreme. One of the targets that you'll be looking for, it will be towards this level in here, in particular that level in there. So there you go. It filled out this range, and now we needed S&P to continue and break these lows to start and continue to push more so indication that it wants to go further down. Apparently it found now some buyers in here and is pushing to the upside. So we'll see what's going to happen next in here. Looking at this size in here, to be honest, this double top, it kind of is attracted to actually be faked out. All right, I can see more people being attracted to look for sales in here, and all of a sudden price can just do one more fake out and push the downside. I actually can see that happening in here. NOS, okay, NOS price, again similar to what we mentioned last week. NOS price actually doesn't really reach that level. It starts moving lower, even breaks these walls in here, and then with PA we can go there. All right, but for now I could see price actually going all the way, fake out this level, and then maybe continue to push down, or the sell pressure to start coming into the market again, maybe after the fake out. But first, yeah, let's attract more sellers at around this size if price does want to get there. Right? I'm just talking in the scenario where actually price wants to go back into this zone in here. All right, but yes, price did respect to that level. Interesting. Nasdaq, there you go. Like similar scenario, Nasdaq actually went below that level, if I'm correct. Let me just take a look into it. Yep, there you go. We actually have this break, so Nasdaq may actually open the door to go further down. Now we do have this next level of structure straight away in here. That's basically where price touched it. It did it. Yeah, touched that level in here. But in the bigger picture, a little bit, it looks like more as an engulf to the downside, because we did manage to take that level. Now it can be a good level then for price to retrace. Perfect. Something that is still missing in here is that the highs are still fresh, which is good. As you can see, price just respected this range in here in the middle, opposite to what we had on the S&P. Okay, S&P already created all the PA close to the highs, which means the highs are already taken, which means that maybe we can have one extra fake out. On the Nasdaq in here, the highs are still fresh, like that level in there is still fresh. Price created this range in here, and that is indeed respected today as well. They had this big sell-off, so we may create some liquidity, and you can do something like that without the need to break new highs. All right, so that's something to bear in mind, even though we may have still another level on the left side to pay attention to. And yes, eventually price could go and go a bit more deeper into this level. So you'll see, again, I'm not really saying that Nasdaq is going to go all the way until there. I'm just mentioning the different scenarios of zones that you can maybe pay attention to. In here, I'm not the biggest fan. I'll prefer now to see price going a bit more closer to the extreme, to be honest, instead of just pausing in there. But that's a level that you can pay attention to, and then eventually going into this level. With that break, I can actually mark it as well, and you can anticipate eventually move further down. All right, so that's basically what we have in here. All right, so that's something to bear in mind. Yep, so that's good to see. Dow. So Dow continues to respect his left shoulder, but he continues to respect also this level. So that's a level that he needed to be broken. It was not. Price continued to respect this level, and now is pushing to the upside once again. Again, we have this level. That level in here has already been respected. And at the highs, is there anything at the highs? Maybe, maybe not. All right, so yes, you do have all this structure, but you didn't really manage to break below this level. Prefer to see price actually breaking below this level to open the door to go further down. That didn't happen, so we'll see now how the Dow is going to react from here. Yeah, so again, not really interested on the Dow at this point. I want to see a little bit more PI around this level, to be honest. DAX made a really big move to the downside, so we continue to respect this this level. We had this one in here. We mentioned that price didn't really respect it, and then price just continued to respect this this one in there. Yeah, there was maybe a possibility in here where price could go towards 2. Yeah, there you go. So we had that move to downside. Basically, price filled almost all the range in here with respect to that level. I think that's exactly where it was. There's a space in here, as you can see, yeah, below that low. That's perfect. That's where price reacted. Now, is that the last level that you should be expecting, or should we be expecting price to go further down? Right, that's the question mark in here. Into the next level support resistance. So the next structure in here is a little bit further down. So you could still expect the DAX to continue to move further down, but this is a nice demand zone. It was fresh, price is reacting from it, so I'm really curious to see now how price is going to react around this level in here. Right, again, we still have that extreme, we price this one to go to, and I do believe that eventually the DAX would like to go further down. All right, so I'm still a little bit more bearish in here, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see how price is going to react around this level in here. Right, again, after such a big move to downside in here, we need to see what's going to be the next move. Right, because that's the big question mark. After you have a big sell-off or a big move to the upside, question mark is what's going to happen afterwards. Is price just going to basically clean out that move and continue in the same direction as it was before, or price actually is going to create some PA and actually is going to find some support or around that level and to actually sustain the move eventually and the shift into the trend. Like, that's something that we want to keep an eye on, and that's the key level now in here, is to see if price actually maybe pause in here and starts creating new lows, or if it's just going to continue to go all the way to the upside from here. Crypto, strong move to the downside as well. We have Bitcoin made a really big move to the downside, breaking out this low. So we talked about that yesterday. Again, it was another one that we mentioned. Yep, the way price reacted from the highs and the way price is again retesting these lows, and these lows were already retested so many times. We were actually looking for Bitcoin actually to break this structure and get closer to the 60k mark again. All right, so again, nice reaction from that level all the way back into here. This is actually one of the last zones. I was not really convinced that this level can still hold price, then I'll be looking higher. So this somewhere in here, I think it will be one of the last zones that maybe Bitcoin could still respect before pushing all the way to try to challenge the all-time highs. So we'll see. We definitely have now this level to pay attention in here to see what's going to happen, but we did left some other levels in here at the highs as well. Okay, so that's definitely something to pay attention in here, because Bitcoin can still respect that level. Now price, yes, price may be respecting this level in the middle in here. Yeah, that's exactly this structure where price is reacting from. Interesting enough, I can still see a bit more room to downside. Ethereum also completely moved to downside. If this loads, yep. All right. So there you go. We kept respecting exactly the level that we had mentioned before. Nice move, and now it's moving completely in breaking out these walls. Right? Again, there was a strong level of compression here. We had the turn. Initial price still respected this last demand zone that was still fresh, somewhere around this level. But then there you go, it's clean, and now price is free to go all the way. Even managed to break some structure in there. So we are looking eventually for Ethereum to potentially continue to move to the downside in here. So that's something to bear in mind. Next structure. So we had a little bit of destruction here. Maybe our price kind of paused in there, but it could go further down, to be honest. It could definitely go a little bit further down in here. But yeah, we'll see. Again, after such a big momentum to the downside, it's important to see how price reacts next, and if it actually again holds or pushes lower, or if it's a full reversal. I think that will actually make it quite bullish in here. Now looking at the indices, the Euro index in here, like start looking at the currencies. So we had the Euro index really negative move or bearish move in here, and we have been bearish. All right, so, and maybe price now is finally ready to go and to break below this level. So that's maybe what we can expect, is maybe for price to finally go below that level and eventually move to these lows. And we have been bearish all this time. Price was finding some support in here, basically trading within this range for quite a long time, and it looks like that it's finally closer to break these lows and potentially go to this level in there, which is a level that I'm looking for. All right, so that's something to continue to follow. Maybe a little bit more of bearish momentum on the euro pairs, which today had a strong momentum to the downside on the euro dollar, euro CAD, euro pound a bit mixed, euro Aussie kind of mixed as well. Yeah, euro yen moved down, but then kind of starting to move to the upside, as you can see in here with the yen pairs. So there you go, right? So big turnaround again. So it reacted. It pushed the upside. We talked about this level in here, so price didn't really reacted all the way to the upside, but it faked out this high. That's something that we wanted to see as well. And apparently now it's finding a lot of sell pressure in here, right? So we went to the downside, we broke this structure in here. We kind of paused in there, didn't really react from the next level. So maybe there's a little bit more room to downside in here on the yen index. Again, good reaction from that supply level. So yeah, we may have a little bit more of a push downside in here. Yeah, so that's something to keep an eye on as well. So good reaction, price respected at high. Let's see how price reacts from this demand zone. And yeah, we'll see if price does want to continue to go and challenge a little bit of this wall that was created last week. Yeah, we'll see. Do we have a double top in here now? Maybe we can have some kind of BA around this structure to even fake out and then potentially push lower. We'll have this demand zone in here and have that low in there. Right, so moving along and taking a look into the individual currency pairs, right? So that's what you want to look at. There you go, right? So we had euro dollar. Again, it broke that trend line, it respected trend line. I was looking for price to get slightly higher in here during the London Open. It never did it. It just completely went all the way through. It filled out this range and now is coming back into this level. All right, so we also mentioned that level kind of respected the upper edge, but maybe they never reacted from here. I can still see, as I mentioned, similar to the dollar index, I can still see the euro dollar moving a bit more to the downside and getting closer to this level, right? So that's the extreme in here that I'm going to be looking for on euro dollar, and from here we'll see what's going to happen. If price actually starts breaking further down and all of a sudden it starts moving a little bit more towards there, or maybe there's a little bit of a reaction to happen below these lows into this zone, we'll see. Or otherwise then starts moving. Yeah, otherwise starts moving further down in there. Yeah, let's just see it here on the higher time frame. Yeah, not really sure if there's anything in here. Yeah, there isn't much. Yeah, some price is reacting from this level. It's basically a decision point to break this high, so that's a good reaction. Not really sure if that's going to hold price for long or not. Again, similar to dollar index, we had a lot of compression in here on the way down, which means that eventually price could again just go up. There's maybe just a couple of zones in there. Yeah, not sure if it's going to hold. Something else that we can pay attention to is the levels that were broken on the way down, right? So maybe there's some levels of previous demand in here that may work a little bit as a supply, or maybe those were already spiked on the way down as well. So that's a bit tricky. Again, what you wanted to see is it was exactly that, like after price kind of respected that level yesterday and during the Christine Lagarde conference as well in the ECB or at the ECB, then we start noticing a lot of sell pressure on the euro, and then it continued with Pedro Powell, and then it continued this morning as well in here. Right, so that was something that we wanted to see. We wanted to see price filling this range, and that happened. So we'll see what's going to happen next as price may navigate a bit more to the downside in here. Pound dollar, right? Similar, right? So pound dollar as well respected the highs, and this low was already a break. We talked about that pattern that was already in place in here, and then price just continued. Like it even respected a little bit that level before the continuation, and it filled all the way, and now it's reacting somehow from this. Yeah, it's finding some support in here. Again, this was already broken as well. So there you go. Maybe that was the next demand zone that was still fresh. Yeah, it was actually indeed. And there you go. Price is reacting from it, and we'll see what's going to happen next in here. Maybe the pound dollar actually have opened the door to go all the way eventually towards this level, but before that it may navigate a little bit more around this level. And again, we do have all the old size in here on the pound dollar, which means that eventually we could even fake out these levels one more time before a big reversal. So yeah, now we are in the middle. We need to try to see what kind of PI, if you create a little bit of a range in here, maybe we can have a continuation to the downside. So that's something to look at. Kind of mark that level in there as a potential zone, maybe where price could go to. Otherwise, it goes all the way to the extreme. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen next in here. This was one of the fresh levels. Price is reacting from it. Underneath that, this one it's already taken, not really that strong, and then all of a sudden this is also almost taken. Maybe there's a little bit of a zone in there to look for. But yeah, that's basically what we have in here on the pound dollar. So we'll see. Again, we need to wait and see after the big sell-off that happened today, if you're going to have that continuation. Again, my prediction or my strength is to look for the reverse of that at the top or kind of the bottom, big tops and bottoms. After price makes that move, I need to wait a little bit now to see where price wants to potentially resume the move to the downside. But where from? That's the question. Euro pound continues to be within the range. It's incredible, like with the candle with the opening, like that 12 AM candle, which we reacted from a level that we have been looking for or waiting for, that demand zone in there, right? So exactly reacted from here. It's a level that we've been waiting for. But again, that candle is so tricky. I don't even know if this is real or not. For sure, I think it varies depending on the broker and the feed, data feed that you are looking for. So that's basically what we have. So we'll see how price may react again from that level. We are ranging. We are starting to see a little bit of buy pressure on the euro pound. That's something that we were looking for as well, and that can also turn eventually on the pound dollar whenever euro pound is ready to make this move. Now I would like to see again one more test towards that level in there. So I'm going to keep tracking what kind of PA you are going to have around this level before a potential turn in here. So that's going to be interesting in here on the euro pound to see what's going to happen next in here. But yes, we start seeing some buy pressure on the euro pound. We have Aussie dollar. All right, so Aussie dollar again the same. So it broke, it respected, went all the way back to supply. That move actually happened yesterday when we were in the stream while the Fetcher Paul was speaking. And there you go, this morning it just made a big move to the downside. Clean out of this move. We can even continue to go further down, to be honest. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in here. Yeah, not really convinced where it's reacting in here, which it broke that low. Yeah, again, bigger picture. We did manage to take slightly that level. Eventually, we could go even closer to that level or even there. But before that, in a lower time frame, there's maybe more opportunities in here to look for shorts. Again, it's going to be another one. If the Aussie dollar continues to go higher, I'll be continuing to look for sales. All right. So if it goes higher, perfect for me, because that's an opportunity for me to look for sell opportunities. So I hope it does, right, before it actually makes all this move to the downside. So that's something that I'll continue to track in here. Yeah, looking at the other Aussie pairs, so we have Euro Aussie as well. So I do believe that maybe Aussie dollar is waiting also for this Euro Aussie to get into a better level, and we do have in here this demand zone. So I've been quite bearish on the Euro Aussie, and I'm curious to see how price may react around this structure, and potentially we can go long. All right, so that's a level that I want to pay attention to, and then you have another one slightly underneath. So that's definitely a level that I'll be looking for to see a potential reaction. And with good PA, with good PA, definitely I'm going to be looking for a trade at around those levels. All right, so something around here, that's one of them, or then eventually to go further down into this level in here. Yeah, so let's continue this Euro Aussie, sorry, to continue to move down. Again, you have this trend line which price continues to respect. We didn't really manage to break these highs, so that's something also to bear in mind in here. Yeah, then you are going to be looking for price to go. 1 second, let's just check on 4 hour maybe. Yeah, we're going to continue to look for price to maybe create a little bit more of buy pressure in here before eventually spiking into that zone in there. Right, so that's a little bit of what we're going to be looking for, some structure in here, and then we could make the turn. Let's see if that happens. Yeah, let's see if that happens, and maybe in that moment, that's the moment that we are going to finally have also Aussie dollar turning as well. So maybe that's waiting, or it's waiting for that. We have also pound Aussie. Pound Aussie actually already managed to break this level. So we may actually start showing the direction that eventually Euro Aussie can follow as well. So maybe pound Aussie is actually leading in here, and at this point, based on the move that you are seeing in here, maybe the next destination can be a bit closer to this level. Of course, it's not going to get there just in a straight line, but that can be eventually the destination of this move in there. So price, yeah, I'm curious to see price respect something in here or in there, and then yeah, maybe the 12 is fresh. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, price respected perfectly that level, so it continues with the sell pressure in here. So we just need to keep an eye on the pound Aussie, to be honest, to see eventually when you can have one of those turns. Next, New Zealand. New Zealand also looked quite interesting. There you go. So it faked out that high, reacted perfectly from that level, and you had a lot of a sell pressure in here, basically filling out this price all the way towards this level in there. All right, so that's exactly where you went to, respecting. Wait, it's not one. Like respecting this demand zone in there. This is actually already a break below, so eventually you can even continue to move to the downside. Didn't even reacted from there. Kind of Aussie at least made something like this. New Zealand just even stayed in here and just moved down. Didn't even reacted from there neither. So those are maybe just a few levels to pay attention to eventually on New Zealand. Again, recovering right now with reaction from this demand zone. Yeah, again, similar to Aussie dollar, if prices want to continue to go or retest these highs once again, that's an opportunity to look for more sales again. Yeah. Aussie yen, right? Just again, more correlation between the yen pairs. So it came all the way back, basically respected the demand zone in here, or missed it a little bit based on my rectangle, but if you actually consider this high in here, it actually retested it, and now kind of challenging a little bit. Let's see, price kind of went all the way to close to the extreme in there. Do have this level that can maybe still hold Aussie yen that managed to continue to respect these lows in here, right? So that's something to keep an eye on and see if price does want to go higher or not from here. Dollar yen, that's another one. So dollar yen actually managed to break below that low that can be seen as an engulf to downside. It reacted perfectly from that extreme, but now we had such a strong momentum to the upside on the dollar today, and even with that, dollar yen didn't really manage to finish positive in here. I did it. It's actually kind of neutral today, but mostly again because of what the yen index is doing. Right, but if you compare dollar yen with Aussie yen, pound yen, euro yen, and so on, all the other ones, they went closer, really closer to this origin of the move. All right, and dollar yen opposite just stayed within the range, kind of in the middle. It didn't really make this big retracement, so that's something to notice. Again, that's because of the strength on the dollar today and the weakness on the other ones. Yeah, it's curious that this level now is still fresh on the dollar yen, but not exactly fresh on the other ones, as we'll see in a bit, also on the euro yen and the pound yen. So we'll see. Again, we are in the middle. There's definitely more room to the upside if prices want to go there. The same way that there's still this room in here if prices want to continue to push lower, and then eventually already broke this low, which can even lead for more sell pressure in here as well. So yeah, let's see eventually in there. So as I was describing, there you go. Euro yen actually reacted from the extreme in here, so it came all the way down. It took this level, so this was actually the level that we were waiting for yesterday, or I was waiting for in here to look for that long. So price never really reacted from it in here, and it reacted basically today. Right, so it got really close to here. It faked out that level in there, as you can see, and now it pushed the upside, even managed to break this high already in here. So yeah, what's going to happen next? That's the good question in here. The price respected perfectly that level. This price wants to continue to go lower. This price wants to go closer to this level. Maybe it wants. It's literally in the middle now. with this low basically respecting nicely this demand zone. Now this one respecting the next one. This high also kind of respecting this previous level structure in here. So that I don't really see much. Again, price actually managed to break below this level, so that can actually open the door to go further down, even though we have this reaction from here. So that's just something. Yeah, good question. Good question. What's going to happen next on the euro yen in here? Yeah, because we definitely have the lows being respected in there. We have price at the highs respecting that level as well. So that's going to be interesting. Again, price can definitely respect these and go higher if it wants to. On the end, same thing. So perfect reaction from the demand zone in here. May even go slightly lower if it wants to. So that's another one to keep an eye on. Again, the high, where did the high reacted from in here? Yes, so it reacted from that structure. That looks good. Yeah, maybe could have a little bit more of sell pressure. We'll see. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I could still see price reacting from somewhere around this level. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's a tricky one. The price respected this extreme, then it respected that level in there. Now it finally kind of got closer to that zone. Yeah, they're nowhere near turning at extremes in here. It's in the middle. In the middle can do so many things. Yeah. Looking at CAD-yen, CAD-yen has also been an interesting one. So price respected perfectly that demand zone. It kind of managed to break a little bit to the upside in there. So yeah, it's another one that's going to be interesting. Again, there was such a big sell-off today on the CAD pairs. So interesting enough, also CAD-yen kind of remained a little bit closer to this level instead of coming all the way back in here, similar to dollar-yen. Yeah, it managed to break to the upside in here, so maybe we can have a continuation in here. Right, so again, some of the end pairs may show a little bit more of continuation to the upside. Some of the end pairs may couldn't continue to go, or showing some indication that maybe wants to go lower. So it's a big mix at this point on the end pairs. Yeah, so dollar CAD managed to respect that high. All right, so basically back at this support resistance zone in here. So it managed to respect that high. Again, the pattern, the fake out in here, everything played out quite nicely in terms of what to usually look for. Kind of try to see breaks of the lows and eventually to fake out. Yeah, basically now price reacting from this level. So we'll see. I could still bearish a little bit in here on the CAD. Again, this will, in my opinion, kind of broke that level. So we continue to go and eventually push lower into this level, but maybe the sell opportunity may not appear from here. So that's just something to bear in mind. Again, we do have this supply level in there at the extreme, but maybe price wants to even go higher before actually turning. Who knows? We'll see. Now the rest of the CAD pairs, right? There you go. Big sell-off. Again, it's respecting what we were expecting in here. So this one was an engulf to the downside. So we've been looking for that for quite a while now. All right. So that was on the Euro CAD. Then we also had this low being broken. Price apparently went all the way to the extreme in there. It didn't really manage to go even higher than that. Which again, the idea it will be even somewhere in there, just pause in there, respected this level, now pushing to the downside, basically respecting this level in here. But in my opinion, this is already kind of an engulf down. All right, so that was another one. So that's basically what we have in here on the euro CAD. So continuation a bit more to downside. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Where from? That's the question. Where is price going to find some levels in here? Again, you can look for previous levels that maybe price can still respect. So that's something to bear in mind. Maybe somewhere in there or somewhere closer around this level in here that maybe price can find something. Yeah, I think with the London Open tomorrow, we're going to find those opportunities. We may have a little bit of a range during the Asian session, so that will be the ideal. Having some range during the Asian session, and then you may have that continuation. Like there's been really a bearish move in here, and it all started or initiated with more momentum during the speech of the Christine Lagarde. Right, so that was the indignation for to start. So yes, we'll see. It's still bearish in here. Pound CAD as well, big move, right? So it filled all this space. So it's tremendous move to downside. It literally created that fake out. We talked about that. We respected. In here it broke those lows, so that's another big sign. And then, right, and then it just filled this range, and even managed to break it. Like, and now we are looking maybe for price to have some kind of reaction from maybe closer to this level in here to go below those lows. Yeah, so that's a little bit of maybe what you're going to be looking for in here. May have a continuation somewhere around this level if there's enough PA around here in terms of continuation, respecting and going. Price is definitely respecting this demand zone, but I would actually like to see price going into the next one. But yeah, this was a great engulf down. Price which is respecting. There's a left shoulder in there. There's a left shoulder in here. So that was a great level to look for. Second, yeah, that was literally a great move. Yeah. Boom, boom. All right. Yeah, second. So deep. Oh no. Second. Target behind. Okay. Yeah, much better. All right. Yeah, much better. All right, so that's what we had in here on the pound CAD. Also, Aussie CAD. Momentum to downside again. Still looking actually for price to go closer to that level, and from there, that's actually the level that I want to look for a bigger trade. But for now, we had definitely this move. Basically, price now respecting this demand zone. Interesting enough. Yeah, it's a good level for price to react, especially on that time frame, on the bigger time frame that I just looked at on the dailies. You can see it as this level in there. But yes, eventually I would like to see this outcut to take the lows, let the lows not take the highs, and get somewhere in there. All right, so eventually that's what I would love to see in here. In the lower time frame, for sure, we may have some levels in here that price can still respect. But that's about it. Yeah, so we were also looking for that one in alignment with the Aussie dollar. Dollar franc Swiss. So dollar franc Swiss continues to be within this range, right? So it hasn't really moved yet. We continue to respect this trend line. Well, this trend line is going to be quite interesting whenever you break it. All right, and then you also have this one that eventually can create a move. So let me just do something like this. Okay, and then we may have that one, retest and go. All right, so I'm going to be, yeah, many people for sure are looking at this move in here on the dollar franc Swiss. So keeping an eye. Now this is the demand zone basically where price is holding. So let's just set up an alert in there as well. Now, is there any chance that maybe price still wants to do this? Perhaps price still wants to go and make that move, right? Now, the reality is that we had such a strong dollar today, but dollar franc Swiss didn't really manage to go, right? Again, something that we have seen recently, especially when you start having these interest rate cuts. There has been a little bit of the correlation that you usually see. It's different now, right? It's not working as may have worked in the past, and this is something that we need to adapt to when looking for trades, especially if you are looking for confirmation in terms of correlation in the market. So that's you need to pay attention to. For example, the yen pairs have been super connected with each other, not so much with the other ones, which is interesting. Dollar franc Swiss hasn't really been a complete reversal of the euro dollar, for example, or moving in the direction of the dollar index. Euro dollar and pound dollar sometimes as well have been a bit divergent in terms of the way they've been moving. So that's just something to bear in mind in here. But yeah, it's nice move in here on the nice move. I mean, interesting levels in here on dollar franc Swiss. Again, we are reacting from that level on the left side, and this trend line in here has been respected so many times, which eventually we can have something like this and price gaining momentum. And I'll be surprised actually if we don't do that in here. So that's an opportunity that I believe many people are looking for. And now gold, right? So gold recovered, so it respected that demand zone in there, and they are back at the highs, especially when the news came out about Iran kind of attacking Israel. Yeah, exactly at 2:30, something like that. There was a really big momentum, bullish candle on gold again, in terms of uncertainty of war or something like that. An asset to go towards to, or to that investors navigate towards to, is gold, right? So that's one of the reasons as well that gold has been so bullish this year. So that's what we have. We'll see if this is enough now to go all the way and break new all-time highs or not. Like, I'd actually still like a level in here, but I'm not really trading gold at this point. It's still the all-time highs. I'm not really interested to trade any reversals in there. Opposite way, we can look at silver, right? So silver is not at all-time highs. The momentum was not as strong, but it filled the space, right? So we looked for that sell opportunity, and it filled the initial level in there, right? So that's interesting. We'll see now if this is enough. The price will eventually continue. Now we did manage to break out that structure, which means that price may want still to go higher, and I could still see that happening. All right, going maybe to this 34 or eventually even 35 or 36. Not 35 basically. So yeah, this can be still a continuation to the upside, but this was a nice potential retracement in here as well. So either price kind of pauses somewhere in here and goes higher, or if price starts breaking below that, then starts opening the door to go way further down. So that's something to bear in mind in here on silver, which is going to be interesting. All right, it's going to be interesting. Before that, maybe price will range for a while in here. So that's what we may have around this level. Yeah, that's definitely the same thing that you need to pay attention. Because at the highs, there's definitely still levels in there. All right, and then we have oil, right? And oil was such a big move to the upside. So it missed my level. It respected perfectly from this level, to be honest. So that was actually, the gap was there. It respected perfectly from the upper edge of the demand zone. I was looking for price eventually to get to the extreme of the extreme, which never happened. So price just paused in there, unfortunately to me. And the reaction, of course, was quite aggressive. Again, we had that situation. We had to start breaking some highs first, and then, right, and then you had the breakout into here, and then even have the reaction from the left shoulder in there. Right? So that was something that we created, and it filled out the space. Like the same way that this move in here, when we turned, we talked about price going all the way and fill this space. Price did it, and then it made it even quicker. Right? It took a lot of time for price to get there, less time for price to make this move, and just in a flash, price just went all the way and filled this range, right? And when did that happen? It happened when the news came out again between situation, the conflict between Israel and Iran in there. So there you go. Basically some kind of range, which sometimes happens on oil, right? Price finding some kind of agreement or equilibrium before moving again. So we'll see if that's going to happen. And maybe this is the range where maybe price or oil is going to be trading from like around the 66.3 all the way to 72, right? So basically the $6 range in here that we have. If you look at Brent, actually I think it already broke the high. Yep, it already did that. So yeah, maybe starting to lead the way. Right, there's another one that exactly into there. Right, that was the zone. And the extreme to be in there. Price never really got there. So there you go. And then the left shoulder once again. So I had all that also. Again, the P8 was the same. The main difference now is that it actually already managed to break the high. But something that we noticed as well is that, and this is interesting, like when you're looking at correlations, because, not, yeah, this one. Because this one in here already reacted from that level, so crude oil already reacted a little bit higher from here, while Brent was still reacting from the zone underneath. Like, so crude oil already has this, but Brent doesn't. Like if you look at this level in here, it looks like it's even missing still. It reacted just from this level, which is a consequence of that one. Like so, crude oil already reacted from here, Brent hasn't even touched this level, not even with this high. So maybe they can create that high just to collect the orders from here without the need maybe of crude oil to break the highs. We'll see. That's interesting. It reacted from the same level in here, but from the top it didn't. So yeah, so that's what we have basically. That's what we have. Second. All right, so yeah. All right, guys. So basically that's it in terms of today's stream, in terms of looking for putting this for tomorrow. Again, when you do have, just to recap, guys, in terms of what to expect for tomorrow's session, after such a big momentum day like we had today, like yesterday when we did the stream, we mentioned actually that we were expecting, or the market was positioning itself for a day like this, a day full of momentum. And in addition to that, it's important to pay attention and to be aware that we're going to have NFP on Friday. So usually usually price doesn't just stay in the range throughout our week until Friday, right? It needs to create some momentum, it needs to get into a new level to start seeing new positions coming in, new buyers, new sellers. And let's see now after this big momentum, how price is going to start positioning itself towards Friday when you're going to have the NFP. So we had this momentum to the upside on dollar index, moving to the downside on euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on. I still see at this point dollar index, I'm still a little bit bullish just because I would like to see price filling this range that you can see in here. I'm not sure if price is going to manage to break the highs. That's a big question mark. So until those highs actually are broken, I'm not going to be turning completely bullish, but I'm still bullish in a lower time frame, looking for price to get to those highs. And can be the same thing on euro dollar. It has the same space to the downside, and pound as well. Yeah, pound is a bit different where it's reacting in here. Looking at the other currency pairs, we're looking at Aussie dollar. I could still see a little bit more to the upside. and the price continues to go higher, I think there's possibilities to continue to look for shorts. I think price is in a compression, so there's going to be opportunities to look for shorts and longs, depending on your strategy and what you like to look for. So I can see that. New Zealand similar. In addition to that, we can see that maybe Aussie dollar is waiting for the Euro Aussie to get a little bit closer to the level underneath where it is right now. So we have a fresh demand just underneath that. So I'm curious to see how the Euro Aussie is going to react from there, and if it reacts nicely from there, then you can have a momentum or a reversal on the Euro Aussie to the upside, which leads the Aussie dollar to the downside. Looking at the Euro index as well that we're having here, we can see that maybe price wants to go a little bit more to the downside. It's reacting from these lows. I would like to see price actually getting a little bit more to the downside in there. So that's eventually can be a little bit more weakness on the Euro pairs. We had a big momentum also on the CAD pairs. So at the CAD pairs at this point, I'm not really touching them until price now starts to show some weakness. After such a big momentum, we have been bearish on the Euro CAD and Pound CAD all this time, and I can still see a little bit more momentum to the downside on the Euro CAD, but we'll see what's going to happen next. What's next? Indices, right? So we anticipated since last week the move to the downside or the sell pressure to jump into the market. We anticipated the indices to start seeing some sell pressure, especially after Nasdaq reacted from the top or reacted from that level that we wanted to see. We noticed also the break of the lows. So today's move is completely in our expectation. Like that's exactly what we predicted, which was good. Now price filled the range in terms of Nasdaq, in terms of the S&P. Filled the range, so we want to see if price eventually breaks the lows or not. And at this point you have so many highs, or you have a kind of a double top, and I wouldn't mind to see price actually faking out the double top before moving down. Nasdaq is not exactly the same. Nasdaq actually managed to break below the structure, and the high is still fresh, right? So we created this zone in the middle, leaving the high behind, while S&P already reacted from the high. So maybe S&P can still create new highs. Nasdaq doesn't really need to. And I'm going to be curious again where they're going to be at on Friday. So Friday is going to be the big day. That's where I'm going to see where we're going to be at, because I believe the NFP is going to be a really important catalyst to help the market start to make a decision on where it wants to go next. Yeah, that's basically it. In terms of oil, oil is in this range. So again, the conflict in the Middle East is not helping at all. It's going to create a lot of volatility in the market, especially in commodities. So that's something to pay attention to. And let's see if the oil market is going to be now within this range of $66 to $72, or if it's going to manage to break one side or the other. Basically, it filled the range that I had. So we'll see what's going to happen next. And gold as well, which eventually can also break new all-time highs. Not really interested at this point in trading gold at all-time highs. Silver, on the other hand, I'm curious to see if we're going to gain momentum again and eventually break this high that was created on Friday or yesterday, and eventually continue to move eventually to 34, 35 mark in here. So yes, again, after such a big momentum, and again, I'm a counter trend trader, so I would like to see, or my trade opportunities happen mostly yesterday. Today it was more of a momentum day, and at this point I'm disciplined enough to not look for reversals when price is just moving down or to the upside. So I stayed away, or a step aside, and now I want to see what's going to happen next, because when you do have a big momentum in the market, a day like this, it's important to see what's going to happen on the day after. And just one more point in terms of the momentum that we actually saw, it was not a pure momentum. Price actually created quite a lot of compression on the way up. You see a lot of wicks being created on the way down, even as price is creating new highs, as you can see, for example, in here on dollar index, and that makes it a little bit of a weak momentum, not so strong. So that's just something to bear in mind, because then it's easy for price to come all the way down and recover the move that it was created today. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you got value. I stream every day at 7 p.m. in order to look for and prepare for the day ahead in terms of looking for my April setups. Feel free to join on YouTube, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Good luck and happy month, and good luck for this Q4. So yeah, last 3 months of the year. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.